What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Terence, Crawford, Errol, Spence, and the question I've been hearing, and it's something that I forgot to really talk about that I haven't previously discussed, was Terence Crawford and his performance. And the question is, did Terence Crawford carry Errol Spence to the 9th round? Okay, and we know what happened. We know the conclusion. We know what Terence Crawford did. The fight was ultimately stopped. Errol Spence wasn't trying to give up anything. He was disappointed that the fight was stopped. Inside the ring, he didn't make up any excuses after that, though, which was a good thing. But understand, Crawford carried Errol Spence, and I'm going to prove it to you. Crawford carried Errol Spence. The reason why I know this is because let's go back to not Terence's last fight where he knocked David Avanesyan out cold. The one before that was Shawn Porter. Terence Crawford went 9 rounds with Shawn Porter. In the corner going into the 10th, Timothy Bradley informed him that he was down on points. He was not winning the fight. Terence Crawford was alerted this, and after that, he had a different look in his eyes, and we see what happened in the 10th round. Kenny Porter, father of Shawn Porter, stopped the fight after the second knockdown that Terence Crawford gave Shawn Porter. Okay, Shawn Porter's been down before, but he's never been stopped. Most importantly, he was never aided to stop by his father. Okay, so history has been made, and he was the first to do what he did. Of course, the narrative started, but that's not the point. The point is, Terence Crawford has the ability and showed you guys that he had the ability to stop a fight whenever the hell he really wanted to. That fight would have been over in the 9th round anyway, regardless if Harvey Dock, the referee, would have stopped it or not. Okay? That's what would have happened. He would have stopped Errol Spence. He would have probably knocked him out cold, which would have been very bad. It would have been kind of like a Deontay Wilder. You know, he would have ended up on his face, back, side, canvas. He would have ended up there. That would have been his final destination, you know, in that near future. That would have been it. Terence Crawford knows how to close the show. He knows how to finish. He could have finished it in 6th or 7th or even the 8th round too. And he just decided not to. He decided, sure, he was countering. He really wasn't even, he was doing enough to win those rounds. He was. But Errol Spence, was the way he was swinging, his legs were apart. He was missing shots. He was disembobulated. You know, maybe that was one of the reasons Terence Crawford carried the fight, because he knew the way he hurt Errol Spence, he knew by tasting and by the body language and by the attack patterns that Errol Spence had, he knew he had him. So there was no sense of going full ham on Errol Spence at that time. So yeah, he carried him into the late rounds. He did. He made it look like some type of competition. Really, that fight could have been over in the 4th or the 5th round. The 6th, the 7th, the 8th. Those rounds, Terence Crawford carried him. Okay, he showed you he can close the show. He shows you he's a great finisher. So why not Errol Spence when he had him hurt earlier than he had Shawn Porter hurt? But he also knew he could take Shawn Porter out when he wanted to. And he did that. And he also showed you that he could take Errol Spence out when he wanted to. He showed you that earlier in the fight. And since he showed us that, he knew there's no need to close the show right now. I'm having fun in here. He was just putting his guard up. He was putting his guard up to block that right hook from Errol Spence. Errol Spence was going below the belt because he had to do something. He had to land somewhere. It might as well be the almighty ball sack, right? So, yeah, that's exactly what happened. Terence Crawford carried Errol Spence 2 to 3 rounds in that fight. That's my counterpunch. You guys tell me what you think. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.